Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared.
Damn!
And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Just bring up the...
And we're doing the 75 Escape to Witch Mountain, right?
Oh, I hope so. I put the 75 up.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
I was
because
just
the one by
just
The
wondering
Rock.
if we were doing the
And then I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I hope this is on Disney.
It is.
Yeah.
That was when because I forgot about the Rock one. I forgot about the 1995 Escape to Witch Mountain or the
Yeah,
Is it
and I
1995?
think I
Yeah.
remember even actually liking it. The
I
Rock
never
one. Not
watched that one.
loving it, but I thought it was like
Yeah.
for a kids movie, I thought it was pretty good. All right. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Today we are going way back before we were born. Escape to Witch Mountain came out in 1975. And you know what? There was no box office. So I am just going to verify that because I forgot to write that down. Yes, 1975.
Yes.
It is 1975. And I could not find anything box office. It
They had
made...
like a national ranking at that point.
No, it wasn't on Box Office Mojo. It made 20 million, but it doesn't say what
Yeah.
theaters, how many theaters or anything like that. It made 20 million. It didn't say how much it cost. I couldn't find that. It made 20 million bucks. Now, I did see a clip, okay, because there are only two. Well, when we get to the trailers, there was
Mhm.
a TV spot available
Mm.
from the 70s.
Damn.
And then there was one where they've kind of cleaned it up for Disney Plus.
Mm.
And I'm guessing they made a profit.
For sure.
Because it looks very, very cheaply.
But also this is one of those movies that has become almost a cultural classic.
Yes.
And people have been watching it for 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Like, they still pull it out and they still watch it. So
Yeah, I think it falls in there with like Mary Poppins, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, The Black
Yes.
Hole, Tron,
Yes.
all 70s, 60s movies. I remember watching them. I wasn't born, but they were rented.
I remember watching them usually when they popped up on TV because it was one of those things where it was just like if it popped up on TV, I was watching it. And I remember this popped up, I think, on one of those Wonderful World of Disney Sundays. So
Yes.
but it's
Yeah, it had
literally
to have.
been, yeah,
The Wonderful World of Disney night. Yeah.
it's
6
literally
o'clock
been,
Sunday.
yes,
Sunday. Yeah.
6 o'clock on Sunday.
We always had dinner and watched
Oh,
those.
yeah, no. For us, we ate as a family like during the day. So I would have dinner after this also because I'm the child of immigrants. So we eat dinner late, European immigrants. God bless
How
us.
late do you eat? I thought 6 o'clock was late.
Like 8 o'clock.
Oh,
I know, right?
how do you go to sleep?
I by closing my eyes.
No, the digestion didn't that? No. Oh, okay.
No. Mind you, all I had to do was go to bed at 9. This is also probably why I'm a night owl. Um, but I would stay up reading for a while. So I guess that was
Yeah,
when my digestion happened. But yeah, no, I remember watching this, but I honestly, I don't think I've watched this for at least 20 years.
I have not seen this in a long time. I remember we had the Disney Channel. Once we got
Mm,
satellite TV, we got the Disney Channel. But yeah, and it was like those movies that I was talking about, Mary Poppins and all those ones. This was up there. I remember liking it. I do not remember a lot about this movie. It has been a minute since I've seen this.
I know they have to make a trek to Witch Mountain.
Yeah,
I know that
I know
there's a
they're like
car ride.
aliens or something.
Yeah, there's something that happens. I know it's mostly kids, but there is an adult with them. Like, it's
Yes.
vague
Yeah.
stuff that I remember. I remember liking this movie.
Yeah.
I would like to officially go on the record as saying I remember liking it. I don't think I loved it,
It was
but
based
I
on a
was like,
book.
it was fun.
It was based on a book that came out in 1968.
Mhm.
He he was really good at snapping up the rights to movies he thought kids would like.
Yeah.
Walt Disney. If he thought kids will like this movie, if he could turn this book into a movie, he was pretty quick to jump on it.
Mhm.
All right, well, let's go. Yeah, I apologize. There is no box office, but there is a tale of the tape. Escape to Witch Mountain is a 1975 kids family. That's the genre Rotten Tomatoes gave me. Kids family.
Yep.
It is rated G and comes in at 1 hour and 37 minutes.
I had no idea it was that long.
No, I hope it's not bad.
Same.
Taglines: Escape to the unknown.
Oh, that's not bad.
Caught in a world where they don't belong, they have to escape.
That's terrible. That's not a tagline.
A film of an earthly power.
Not bad. Unearthly is a little clunky.
Caught in a world where they don't belong, they have one chance to escape.
No, no, no. Too many words.
Well, that's it. The first one is not bad. All right, the synopsis. Tony, Ike Eisman, and Tia Malone, Kim Richards, are two orphan siblings with extraordinary psychic powers. When their abilities attract the attention of a cruel millionaire, Aristotle Bolt, Ray Millen, he kidnaps them with plans to exploit their powers for financial gain. Tony and Tia escape, and with the help of Jason O'Day, Eddie Albert, there's your helper, you'll know him when
Mm,
you see him, a bitter widower camping in a nearby Winnebago, they attempt to elude Bolt and begin to discover their otherworldly origins.
damn. That sounds entertaining.
Seems, yeah, seems a little plot heavy for a kids movie.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm impressed with the plot because I'm like, normally kids' movies is, well, I mean, this is also Disney. He likes to kill people, especially parents,
yeah,
and trauma and
yeah. Take
dealing with
that,
the
Bambi's
trauma.
mom. Do you know they're remaking Bambi and they're not going to shoot the mom?
What?
Yeah, they're remaking Bambi and Bambi's mom's not going to get. I'm like, well, what's Bambi going to do? No reason to go out and find himself if his mom there. Do you
I
remember the
think the
first time you
general.
saw Bambi?
Yeah, I was at school. We were in the library. It was like a class viewing thing, a bunch of classes together.
A
Bambi's
bunch
mom
of kids
dies.
crying,
I start crying because I'm like, God damn it. Mind
and
you,
the
I was
cool
also
kid
like
makes fun
7.
of you.
Oh, there were other reasons for the cool kids to make fun of me. I was a big dork.
Yeah, Walt Disney loved to play with your emotion. Remember,
Yeah,
like old Yeller and Jesus.
Walt Disney wanted you to be traumatized,
Yeah, made
100%. And then he throw in a song.
yeah, and then everything was all better, sort of.
Yeah, you sing and dance, and then everything's fine.
And here is the poster. Very 1970s.
Super 70s.
Yeah. Oh,
So I
Donald
was like, "What
Pleasance.
is that in the background?" And then I was like, "Oh, that's a face.
Yeah.
That's a house."
That is Ray Millen, the bad guy. That's a house.
Yeah.
That old guy there is Eddie Albert running with the
Mhm.
kids. Yeah, I would say this was a book from the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't hang it on a wall.
Oh, no. Not even a little bit.
All right. Well, let's go to Rotten Tomatoes. This is
Yeah.
interesting. 23 critic reviews give it 74%. 25,000 audience reviews give it 59%.
Interesting.
I was surprised there
Interesting.
was 25,000 audience. It's an older movie, but
Well, I would think there would be more.
maybe like it was never as big as Mary Poppins or Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
No, but it
Um,
was still like a classic stand. Like, people are still recognizing Kim Richards from it, even though she looks nothing like the child she was.
all right, let's start with the fresh. You may.
I'm ready. They don't make them like this anymore. Sarah Wank, Common Sense Media, original score 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Provides adventure and excitement that children of all ages can enjoy, but it is not very perilous or violent at all. That sucks. Kevin Carr, 7mm Pictures. Original score, 4 out of 5.
Interesting. The movie looks pretty cheap, but with Ray Milland and Donald Pleasance as villains, it's still a lot of fun. Jeffrey M. Anderson, Combustible Celluloid.
And to be fair, Disney's movies, especially kid ones, they were cheap. Like the Herbie the Love
Yeah.
Bug, all those ones were
Oh,
cheap,
yeah.
but they were always fun. I remember them
All the
being fun.
live action ones were
Yeah,
definitely like that was not where the money was going.
no, and Kurt Russell did a lot of them. Like there was a
Mhm.
ton of them. Yeah, no, there were not a ton of money being put into these. A sci-fi thriller that's fun, that's cheerfully implausible, that's scary but not too scary, and it works. Roger Ebert.
Interesting.
Rotten.
Pleasant enough, but underwhelming and curiously lacking in wonder, even in the high flying finale. Stephen D. Gradinus, decent films, original score C plus.
A Walt Disney production for children who will watch absolutely anything that moves. I just said that basically by lifting off all these movies. Vincent Canby, New York Times.
This is fantastic. If you can dust off your 8-year-old self and put your disbelief in a headlock when you pop this in the player, you may manage to get a few nostalgic kicks. Betsy Bondsdak, DVDjournal.com, original score 2 out of 4.
I didn't feel its magic. Dennis Schwartz. Dennis Schwartz movie reviews.
Oh, Dennis.
Or Dennis didn't feel the magic.
He did not feel the magic.
IMDb. Here we go. Oh, sorry. 11,000 user ratings.
Oh,
6.3 out of 10. Not too bad.
not too bad.
It absolutely has the least amount of user reviews I've ever seen.
Yeah, that is pretty low.
Yeah.
I was an extra in this movie. 10 out of 10. Johnny Ocean.
And I read the review. He was an extra in the movie. Ah. This movie is awesome malicious to the ninth degree. 9 out of 10. Zach Rurik.
Oh, Zach. A beloved rollicker for the younger set. 8 out of 10. Flood Clearwater.
Kind of great. I'm honestly shocked. 7 out of 10. Yusuf Biskin.
I think that's Yusuf Piskin.
Yusuf Piskin?
I think so.
Yusuf? Yeah, that looks right. Yusuf Piskin.
Right?
Shut up, Yusuf.
I only watched it to see Betty Davis, which is a shame. As it turns out, she's only in the sequel. 6 out of 10. Plankton Rules.
Escape to Cornsville. 5 out of 10. Gradoon.
Gradoon, what did you expect? It's a Disney movie with kids. Starts quite seriously, gets silly. 4 out of 10. Richard Chatton.
Incredibly stupid movie, but loved it when I was a kid. 3 out of 10. Tall Guy 62.
Showing its age. 2 out of 10. Blazegeg.
Sure. There were no 1 out of 10s.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that was kind of nice for a Disney
Yeah.
movie.
Good for
So,
them.
and that's the first time and probably the last time we'll ever see that.
Oh, 100%.
All right. So we will watch the TV spot
I'm
and then
ready.
we'll watch the Disney streaming cleanup. All right, here we go.
The engine will start now.
Those two kids are witches. Find them. Now, from Walt Disney Productions, a motion picture of unearthly power. Escape to Witch Mountain.
Well,
Hunted.
you have power. Well, I want to be able to understand these powers.
Their only hope is escape to Witch Mountain. Rated G.
Ah. All right, before we say
out
anything.
all the effects.
Yeah, they were saving their money for animation. It was pretty obvious. All right, let's watch the cleanup.
Our planet was dying. We had to find another planet to live on. I think We might have been the only ones on our spaceship to have survived. We're trying to find where home is.
You have power. I want to know. I want to be able to understand these powers.
There's something funny about this, Malone, and I'm gonna teach you a lesson.
He wants to learn all the things we know. We've got to get out of here before it's too late. Come on!
I will not rest until I get those children back. Find them!
You know a place called Stony Creek?
Yes.
Will you take us there?
Every lawman in the county is probably looking for this camper.
We gotta keep moving.
Those two kids are witches. You two got powers beyond belief.
They tried. They really did. But that Winnebago flying over the thing,
Oh my god.
albeit looked better, but still
It
looks so
looked
bad.
better. It's so bad. That's gonna live rent free in my head forever now.
Ugh.
But it's
And I
funny
will
because
say, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the remastered one for Disney Plus, they really put the tension in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
I don't know
"Ooh,
how much that will translate into the actual viewing, but
true story."
there's something like the TV spot was definitely done in the 70s or maybe early 80s for a
Mm,
TV for the TV, but it looks like it was a TV spot for the 70s. Still had charm. Still had that old charm to
yeah,
it. Looked horrible though.
terrible, terrible.
And I will say this for Disney movies, as much as they didn't put a ton of money into their 60s and 70s live action,
Mhm.
what they did do was find incredible, talented fucking actors. Donald Pleasance, what's his name there? The old guy that's helping them,
Yeah,
and the old guy that wants to steal their powers, the sheriff that's trying to catch them there. Like these are actors, like these are really well
yep.
known, even though I didn't know their name. But
No,
like
but
even
their faces, and they're people whose performances you've seen. Like, you
yeah,
can recognize them, and they are very, very talented and usually really great character actors.
yeah, and one of
Um,
the most fun things about watching these live action Disney ones is when you watch them and you're going, "Oh my god, that's the voice of the cartoon from a Disney movie, most likely."
yeah. One thing I will say about these Disney movies, God bless, is there wasn't it's not like today where people are fighting to get, the ticket money from kids.
Yeah,
Like, they're looking for the kids audience today. There wasn't a market for that in the 60s
no,
and 70s. Disney really was pretty much the only studio doing that. Everybody else was focusing on the people who were older, and especially in the 70s, started going into more teenage movies, and that kinda moved into the 80s. So it really was a niche market for them. So they could
yeah,
pretty much not spend any money, but still get
yeah,
really great actors, and they would all wanna do that because it was something that, you know, either they were starting their careers or they were winding down their careers in these movies.
yes, yeah, yeah. Because you see that very young actors that became big
Yeah.
or actors that were really big and much older now. Plus, correct me if I'm wrong, especially in the 60s and 70s when these like kids movies were coming out, these movies weren't playing at 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. These were usually afternoon weekend movies.
Yeah, because,
So to pull off 20 million for
still
matinees is
impressive.
pretty impressive.
Well, this was also something that you could take your kids to, and it
Yeah.
was rare at the time that there was a movie in theaters for kids. So that was like a whole nother
Especially that
ball
kids
game.
wanted to watch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you could take your kids to watch some movies that may have been a little more PG, but then you had to worry, and it wasn't for the really, really young kids. This
Yeah.
one you could still take the really young kids to, and it's also not like today where a lot of animated movies are marketed to both kids and adults.
Yeah.
Back then, it was just this is a kids movie, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the parents were like, "Whatever, man, my kid's gonna be quiet for 2 hours, let's go."
Or just drop them off at
Or
the
just drop them
matinee.
off. I
Yeah.
do think this probably did well in drive-ins,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I could see a nice family night, you
Weekend.
know,
Yeah.
they probably paired it up with a Disney like animated movie. They're like, everybody come. So I could see that. But yeah, no, it's God bless Disney. They really, even though it had it, Disney has its issues, but they really found their niche market and they were like,
Then
yeah,
or now.
both. There's there are discussions to be had. Although sometimes I'm like, yay, Disney. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, fuck Disney. But most of the time, overall, I'm like, Disney doesn't suck so bad.
No.
Although there are some of their policies which I'm not exactly a super fan of. But then there are other policies that I am a fan of. But back then it was definitely way more problematic. Because I mean, it was a studio, a film studio in the 60s and 70s. By definition, it's going to be problematic. There are going to be
Yeah.
issues.
From what I remember reading, what was good about Walt Disney was that you if you came to work for Walt Disney, you could always have a job
Mm,
as long as you stayed with Walt Disney.
yeah.
They would find you something. I don't know. I grew up on Walt Disney movies. I love Walt Disney movies.
See, I grew up on soap operas. So I also grew up on like I was a little kid and I was watching movies that were probably way too old for me. And I mean, this is from the time that I was 6 years old. So when I would watch Walt Disney movies, 9 times out of 10 it was because it was on Wonderful Worlds of Disney. Like that
Yeah.
was when I would see these movies and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, whatever." But also like I was watching, Falcon Crest when I was 6 and Dynasty. Like I was in the drama. So I was like, "Oh, this is cute.
See, I
Look
was
at you."
watching Knight Rider and
I was also
Dukes of
watching that.
Hazard and A
I wasn't
Team.
watching Dukes.
Too
What
racist
was
for you back in the 80s. A Team.
no. Oh, A-Team I watched like crazy.
Awesome.
I had such a crush on George Peppard. I was like,
Battlestar.
"You."
George Papard.
Yes.
I was gonna say face.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I thought he was very attractive too, and he held on to his face. Let me tell you,
Actually,
he
yeah.
aged
Yes,
incredibly well. He's
he did.
still very good look, or I think he might be dead. But he's still very attractive.
And I
Like right
remember
to,
when he
like, "Whoa."
popped up on A-Team, I was like, oh my god, that's Starbuck from not Star was it Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica? I think he
I
played Starbuck. Um
I haven't watched all like Battlestar Galactica, the OG.
and it's not very good. It's fun. It's not very
Oh
good.
yeah, but I mean, but yeah, no, I watched a lot of very adult. So when I would watch the kids stuff, it was cute to me, but it wasn't necessarily stuff I was drawn to. So I'm kind of excited to rewatch this
So what's your
because I'm
prediction on
like,
this one?
I think I'm gonna laugh a lot, but I think I'm gonna think it's sweet.
Yeah, it's gonna be yes, I agree. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a little it's hard to say nostalgic because it's way back there, but yeah, I think it's gonna be they
I
don't
think it'll
make
be
them like they used to.
a sweet kids movie that you can kind
Yeah.
of giggle about, flying Winnebagos.
That looks if it all looks
Uh,
crappy like that, that's a good thing.
Crazy thing is, like, that was actually very good special effects for the time.
Yeah.
And then you see what we have now and do the comparison. You're like, holy crap. It's amazing though. I'm excited. Can't wait to
Alright.
see what else they've got in there for us.
Something tells me there's a talking cat
Probably.
or something about a cat. Anyways, well, we're gonna go watch Escape to Witch Mountain, and when we come back, we will review it.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. And now, on with the show.
God, look how dark my eyes are. Jesus Christ.
Concealer.
What's that?
Put on a little
Yeah,
concealer.
concealer. I was gonna say, I look like Uncle Fester got a new hat. All right. I just got a notice someone downloaded Weekend at Bernie's 2 and Mannequin 2.
Yes. Well, I posted
It's
on my
at
Instagram and on my Facebook that we were about to record.
yeah, I put that over my Facebook too. It'd be interesting to see where it how it did. Okay, welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. I have watched Escape to Witch Mountain. Have you watched Escape to Witch Mountain?
I have. I don't know why I'm so excited about that.
My initial thoughts, oh my God. After watching nothing but straight horror for like what, almost 2 months, including like 3 double features, and being completely disturbed by 1974 version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what a fucking palate cleanser this was. Holy shit. I haven't felt this fucking wholesome and I don't know when.
No, it's so fucking true. Like I was watching this and I was like, God, this is so sweet. It's so light and it's so fluffy. And look at all the daylight in it.
Yeah. All right.
Like that's kind of fucked up.
So your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts, so wholesome, so nice, and weirdly good. Like I enjoyed watching this.
Yeah, I had a little fun
I
watching
was not
this.
expecting that. I was like, this is actually pretty good. It shocked
All
me.
right. Yeah. No. All right. Well, Escape to Witch Mountain. The movie centers upon the brother and sister pair, Tony and Tia, who initially know only their deceased adopted parents' surname, Malone. The children are placed in an orphanage where they face difficulties stemming from their strange psychic powers. Tony can telekinetically move objects with the aid of his harmonica, and he can experience a limited form of premonition, as shown in the scene where he draws Mr. Bolt's mansion on a mirror. Tia can communicate telepathically to Tony, commune with animals, experiences premonitions, and can also use her minor telekinetic powers, which are much stronger in return from Witch Mountain. Oh, okay. She carries a star case with her at all times, which the children find contains a strange map. Okay, so let's start with the beginning. I keep forgetting. In the before times, before social media made everyone an idiot, movies had their credits at the beginning of the film.
Yes.
This kind of caught me by surprise. I'm like, what the fuck's
Yeah.
going on?
There was a lot of names and a
Yeah.
lot of, I was like, wow, we're just like going through. But the music, like the score was really great. And I was like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
So
And
I
I'm like,
wasn't
hey,
that
look,
mad
they're
at it, but I
making
was
me.
like, this is going for a really long time.
Yeah. And I forgot they used to do that. And they kind of made you
Yeah.
see everyone that was a part of the movie.
Hmm.
I think George Lucas fucked that up. He wrote to
Really?
them and yeah, because he needed that big orchestra beginning with the big Star Wars thing. And he said that he needed to get permission to do it because if he did all that stuff before it, it would have. But I don't think Jaws or anything did it either. I
I
don't
don't
know. I'd
think it
have
was
to
a
look that.
super popular thing until probably the 80s.
Yeah.
Because even into the 80s, it was still doing a lot of, but what they were doing is they were doing the credits while the film was starting.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
all the names were popping up while the film had already started, like the action had begun.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it kind of changed because this was just credits.
Yeah. And it was pictures and art and
Yeah,
with the credits going over top of it. Yeah. It was kind of nice.
it was.
Okay. So also the orphanage and Mrs. Grindley. How awesome was she?
She was fantastic. She is what I always think of orphanage runners,
Yeah. She made you wish your
orphan
parents
runners.
died and you
That's
became an orphan.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but she was nice. She was no Mrs. Hannigan, which was fantastic. But yeah, no, she was very nice and she was very like, "Okay, children. just super upbeat and happy, and I'm like, "Well, I'm glad we're not going down, like, the Annie route." That was very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and she was played by Rita Shaw. She was in everything from Mary Poppins, Pollyanna, and a bunch of Disney movies. And I think she was in every single TV show for one episode in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Like
Yes.
she was in a lot of them. Okay, so Tia has fragmented memories of her early childhood, including an accident at sea and a man she later remembers as the children's uncle, Benet, pronounced Benet. That's the plot. Whom they believe drowned during their rescue. During a
Mhm.
field trip to see a movie, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the original one,
Yes.
obviously from 1975, he experiences a premonition and is able to warn a wealthy attorney, Lucas Duranian, against a
Mhm.
potential dangerous accident. Duranian informs his employer, millionaire Aristotle Bolt, of the children's powers. Bolt, obsessed with paranormal, demands that Duranian retrieve the children at all costs. We also see him bitching to some other spiritual people who are not
Yeah.
really living up to his hopes.
So basically he wants to use the occult and the paranormal in order to make billions and billions of dollars, and
Yeah,
if he's not getting proper predictions and premonitions from his psychics, he gets angry.
yeah, yeah. He's like a Nazi villain from Indiana Jones.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
um,
Also, Dr. Duranian, Mr. Duranian, I
yep.
was like, "You look so familiar.
Oh,
You
Donald
look so."
Pleasance,
I know, I was like, but
but
I was staring
younger.
at him younger, so much younger. So I was staring at him and staring at him and staring at him, and then I was like, "Dr. Loomis, it's you."
Dr. Loomis.
Then I was like, "Okay, I feel better now."
Yeah, young, but he would have made Halloween 3 years later.
I know. It's amazing
Yeah,
how fresh he looked in this movie.
yeah, yeah. He got old quick. Well, no, he was Dr. Loomis
Hollywood.
for up until
For,
five,
like, 4 or
wasn't he?
5 of the movies, yeah.
Yeah. Duranian's detective work leads him to the orphanage where he poses as Tia and Tony's uncle, though not under the name Benet, and takes them to
Yeah.
Bolt's mansion.
Mhm.
So if you're listening to this in the 70s, it was really easy to just abduct children.
Pretty much, pretty much. There was no, like, courts, there
No,
was no like, he
they
just
just
showed up
showed
with some
papers.
papers, and they were like, "Oh, okay, children, pack your bags, go ahead," and I'm like, "Excuse me? Aren't you gonna verify that those papers are real? Aren't you gonna call someone? Shouldn't a
Nope.
sheriff be here? Like, someone?" You're just gonna be like, "Oh, okay, this nice man says he's your uncle. He has some papers.
Yeah.
We're just gonna give them to you."
To be fair, I mean, if you were a kid and went missing, the most they could do back then was put your picture on a milk carton,
True
put a
story.
couple
Occasionally,
flyers in
you
the
got to
neighborhood.
be on the news,
Yeah, if you
but
were in a really
very
nice
rarely,
area
and rich.
and white. I didn't want to say it. Yeah, you also had to be rich. You couldn't be just like some poor white
So,
kid.
yeah, I'll say it for you. No, no, to be
Um,
rich and from the right neighborhood.
yeah, and it made you more appreciative of surviving another day and going home to your family. Not like today.
Mhm.
Can't give children away.
Jesus.
No one wants these entitled emotional messes. I can't find the. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Oh, look at that. I just had to get angry. Though- See, my wife's wrong. My anger actually worked for me. Though initially suspicious of Bolt's motives, Tia and Tony are lured in the wealthy trappings of Bolt's home. As much as I
Mm,
like Mrs. Grindley, that setup at Mr. Bolt's mansion, even being in the 70s, was awesome.
they had a soda,
Oh,
like, fountain set up
ice cream
in their
parlor right in their
room.
room. Yeah, yeah,
What? They were I'm like, "Root
yeah,
beer floats 24/7." Although the marionettes were creepy, I'll admit that, like, it's like, especially the
yeah,
one that was sitting with Tia and, like, sat on her lap, I was like, "That's the creepiest one of them all."
yeah.
'Cause movie but here's one thing, it started with the marionettes, and they had a few I was like, the effects in this movie, pure, like, mechanical, manual,
Mhm.
100%, but they were actually really good.
But they were really good, actually. Yeah, for what they were
Yeah.
doing. Yeah, yep.
I was like, "Oh, sirs,
The
this is
Winnebago
good."
coming up later on, not so much.
Yes.
But this stuff was, yeah, actually well done.
Yeah. Well, the one with the sheriff in the sheriff's
Oh,
office with the
yeah.
coat rack, I was like, "That's impressive, guys."
Yeah, it was impressive. No, you throw in a Nintendo Switch, a Netflix account, and you could abduct me till the cows come home. Like when Tia's like, "But Mr. Bolt wants us to do this." And I'd be like, "Listen, bitch, we got an ocean view, pool." Didn't he say he was putting in a roller coaster and a carousel?
Probably. Like, he was
Yeah.
putting it on real thick where he was like, "No, guys, this is gonna be the greatest time of your lives. Look at all the stuff I'm gonna give you."
Yeah. And she'd
It
be
was
like,
straight
"But
bribery.
yeah. Yeah, but Jimmy, it's bribery." I'd be like, "No. He actually said he will buy us anything we want." Could
God, you're so
take
cheap.
pictures of
You were
Oh,
so
yeah.
easy to buy.
Oh, he could have took pictures of Jimmy nude on the carousel, all that shit.
Adult Jimmy. Gotta
Adult
take
Jimmy,
pictures
yeah.
of adult
Not
Jimmy.
little Jimmy.
No.
Perverts. Um, yeah, the ice that I must have freaked out, like, when I saw this as a kid, because I would have saw this in
Mm.
the '80s, and even then, that would have been like, "Really, a soda fountain, an ice cream parlor soda bar in your room?" Oh,
Um, I had to share a room with my sister until I was, like, 19. So, I was like, "Room." They have a big room.
oh, yeah, they shared, like, a common room, a giant common room,
Yeah.
and the cat got his own room.
Right?
Oh, yeah, for those listening, they had a cat that helped them beat up a kid that stole the map.
His name
They
was
wanted to take
Winky
the cat, Winky, because it
'cause he
winked. That
winks.
was yeah, that was some stellar effects.
They just put that shit on a loop, and I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, guys, we were doing so well."
but yeah, they didn't wanna go without Winky, and they, like, "Bring Winky along," and they made Winky his own little room with a
Yeah.
cat hotel and all that, yeah. Oh, and that view? Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
fucking stunning.
Oh, yeah, and they were redoing the tennis courts and oh, jeez. And you wanna go live with some aliens in the hills, idiots. Bolt eventually reveals that he has been monitoring the children via a closed circuit television system that he and Duranian are fully aware of their powers. Okay, that gets a little creepy.
A little?
Cameras in the room.
He
I've been
okay,
watching you for days, children. Oh,
cameras in the
stranger
room,
danger.
right? I was like, "Guys, this is super illegal now."
But
Back
he's
then,
like,
it
we're gonna
wasn't
put more
so
cameras
illegal.
in.
Yeah, he's like, "We're gonna cover everything," and I'm like, I don't think you should do that."
Yeah,
But,
what's Disney
also,
showing me here?
back then so when you're looking at it now, you're like, "Shocking," but at the time, they were probably like, "Wow, he can afford cameras?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
phone
so"
like in his car. I'm pretty sure back in '75 that would have been real cool to see.
also exceptionally expensive, but that's because
Yes.
that car phone would have come with it in a briefcase. It's a full briefcase that I fucking love it when they do this. Anyways, when he starts doing his little monologue at the dinner table, where he basically tells the kids that now they're gonna work for him,
Yeah.
and they're gonna use all their psychic abilities to make him more and more money, he gets, like, super villainy,
Yep.
and I'm like, "It's a little extra."
Yeah.
Duranian sitting there going, Maybe you wanna roll back a little bit because this is a little intense." While he sits there, like, peeling an apple with a knife,
Yeah,
where
with
I
a
was
knife.
like, "God bless." I take off half the apple when I'm trying to peel it with a knife. Good for
Yeah.
you.
The night of this revelation, T and Tony make an escape. So they tell Mr. Bolt that they have a vision that he needs to go rest
Yeah,
because something bad's gonna happen, and they tell the lawyer, their uncle, Durarian? Yes,
Duranian.
Duranian,
Yeah,
that he has to
Duranian.
go too. Yeah. T and Tony make an escape, making use of their powers to control a wild Mustang. Guard dogs,
Mm,
they turn the guard dogs on the security team and the security fence. Did you notice that security fence? That was a manual security. That guy's job
yeah,
was just to like that
yeah,
old
it was to open the fence.
medieval gate. Yeah, it wasn't battery powered. That was an old man doing that. That was awesome. Bolt sends Duranian, yeah, and a thug, Uberman, after the children. Tia and Tony hide out in a Winnebago motorhome owned by a crotchety widower named Jason O'Day, Eddie Albert. And it was bugging
Mm,
me. Like, I know his face, and I'm like, who? And I'm like, Green Acres. He was the main guy on Green Acres.
Ah, yes.
Oliver. And he's done, yeah, a couple hundred things as well.
He's done so
Um,
much.
yeah. And he got top billing for this movie, and we're at like the 48-minute mark by the time he actually even shows up.
Yeah, but that's because he was a huge, huge star at this
Yes.
like, Green
Yes.
Acres was
Yeah, it was huge.
ridiculously popular.
Yeah. Initially negative towards the children, Jason gradually begins to recognize their powers and the truth of their story. Tia's vague memories of the disaster at sea intrigue him. He agrees to take the children en route indicated by Tia's star case, which leads them to a mountain known as Witch Mountain, home to unexplainable phenomena. Avoiding Bolt, the law, and an incited mob convinced the children are witches, they eventually make their way up Witch Mountain, pursued by Duranian and Uberman, as well as Bolt in a helicopter. Okay. And this is very 70s and very Disney live action. How like they get caught by the police, they use the coat rack
Mhm.
to beat up the sheriff.
Yes, while they escape from the jail cell that he has put these 2 children in.
Yeah. And then they unlock a captured bear to help them.
Of course, as you
And
do.
I was a little concerned how easily the sheriff convinced the entire town of men to hunt down children and shoot them on sight. Like guys
Also,
were like,
he
we need more ammo.
well, I think it's because they live near some place called Witch Mountain,
Yes.
and so everybody's like, "There are witches up there," and it's like, "These kids were going to Witch Mountain. They must be from Witch Mountain. They're witches." Although it concerns me
Get
how
your gun.
quickly they
Yes.
rounded up everybody, and how many guns everybody had, and how bloodthirsty they were to be shooting at some children's just because the sheriff said so,
Yeah.
because the town in general did not see any of their powers.
No.
So it's not
No.
even like there was a big display. It's literally the sheriff was like, "They're witches.
Yeah.
I know.
It's good enough
Trust
for me.
me. Let's go kill them."
And they had a bounty on them, $1,000. That bought your sheriff
Hey
a
man, that's a
thousand
big bounty.
bucks.
Well, shit, in 1975, some people could buy an entire house
And
for
actually,
$1,000.
Darian or Duranian had to up it to 5,000 under the
Mhm.
stipulation that they don't fucking shoot the children. He's like, you crazy fucking hillbillies. I'll give you 5,000. Please don't shoot the children. And then we also get the film's big effects, the flying Winnebago.
Yes.
From watching that TV spot to the cleanup on Disney Plus, they did do a better job. It did look a little
Yes.
better. The upside down flying helicopter.
Yes, which also lands upside down.
Yeah, that was awesome.
See? See?
And
It
it
lands.
flew side by side with the Winnebago, like sharing
Yes.
the same
But it's
screen.
so funny because 'cause they're like, "How are they fl" the people in the helicopter Bolt was like, "How are they flying upside down? The Winnebago's upside down." And then they realized, "No, we're upside down."
Yeah.
I was like, "God bless, sir."
Now, would this have looked cool in 1975? It must. It must have looked pretty neat.
Yeah. No, this would have
Yeah.
been super cool.
Yeah.
This would have been super cool,
Um,
especially for kids. Oh, they would have lost their shit.
yeah, because I went in 1975 because like Jaws came out, the Rocky Horror Picture
Yeah.
Show, Dolomite, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So yeah, as far as effects go, it probably looked pretty cool. I will say from the actual 1970, yeah, that I love that TV spot. That looks so shitty, but
Well, that was something that I noticed when I started watching. I was like, "Wow, they really, like, remastered this. Like, this is
they
super
did.
clean.
Yeah, they really did.
Super clean." Like, the quality is 100 times better. I was like, "This is
I don't think it
impressive."
looked that good in 1975
Oh, no. Oh,
in the
fuck no.
theater. No.
No, man. It was crisp.
As their memories begin to fully return, the children realize their accident at sea did not involve a boat, but a spacecraft. Tony and Tia are actually extraterrestrial origin. The double star emblem on the star case stands for a binary star system where their home planet was located. Slow down, people. A binary star system is two stars that gravitationally bound to and orbit one another. Just don't get all upset. He just say binary.
I was like, "Where the fuck is he going with this?"
Okay. Um, having come to
It's
Earth
the only
because
thing that
they're
is binary. Go on.
Having come to Earth because their own planet was dying, survivors of the journey made their way to Witch Mountain and formed a community to await the surviving children. Each pair in possession of a star case to help them find their way to their new home. Tony and Tia are the first to reach their destination. Not great planning by the space parents, losing all their
No.
space children, but the children are reunited with their uncle Benet, who did not die. He actually, what does he
Mhm.
say? If you know how to talk to a shark, they can be quite
Yeah.
helpful. Yeah. When Bolt and the others leave in defeat, Jason witnesses the ship return as it flies over him to say a final goodbye. Yeah, that's basically the movie.
But
There's
they
a
leave
little
it
more
open.
interaction. Yes, they do leave it
Yeah,
open.
they leave it open for a sequel because they tell, oh God, why I can't Jason O'Tay, Uncle Benet is like, oh no, we
There's
gave
other
this to all the
children.
children as they get older. Da, da, da." Well, he's like, well, now that I know what to look for, I'll keep an eye out for them. So you're like, this could have even turned into a TV show of him just looking
Yeah.
for the star children and taking them back and protecting them. Would have been a great TV show, actually. Why have we not thought of this? But yeah, no, it was so sweet, so wholesome, so nice.
Okay, so what's your score?
Well, you can stream it right now on Disney Plus, but if you don't have it, buy this motherfucker. It's so nice. And it doesn't feel like it's super slow. Yeah, the kid acting is not the greatest. It is what it is. Also, if you're a fan of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Kim Richards is who plays Tia. Like every time you see Tia in this movie, if you're a fan of the Real Housewives
Oh,
of
is
Beverly
she
Hills, you're
is
going
she
to
a
be
real
like,
housewife?
she was. And then
Oh,
she
was
left
she
the
like a
show.
really evil one?
She
Nice
was a
one.
really messy one.
Mm.
She wasn't necessarily evil. Her and her sister were on the show. Kyle, who was in Halloween, Kyle Richards, the OG Halloween. So, anyways, this is like a whole separate. So, like every time I saw her on screen, I was like, "That's who you grew up to be a Real Housewife." Like it kind of jars you, but the movie itself is so wholesome, so fun, well paced, actually pretty cute, like story wise and dialogue wise. I mean, Winky is a superstar, and it's a fun, very lighthearted movie that you could totally put in front of young kids, and it still gives them that kind of action adventure feel without any actual like super peril. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yep.
I say buy it. It's a
Nice.
classic.
Wow.
I know, right?
All right.
What about you?
What- My score, while nostalgia for watching this in the early or mid 80s, I don't know when I actually saw it, but it was around that time, was super high. I did enjoy it on that level. It was fun for the whole family. But what family? I know one of my 12-year-olds would bow out in the first 5 minutes.
Mm.
As Annabelle or shows like Riverdale and Dynasty that we were talking about are more her thing. The others like anime. I know my 6-year-old would probably sit and watch this with me. Old people who want to relive their movie youth. It was fun, and it actually, if you actually did watch it in the 70s or 80s back then, I would say stream it. If you have Disney Plus, stream it. If you don't, take my word for it. It might be better left as a memory. Will I watch it again? That's tough because I did enjoy watching it. I really did. It was a very
Mhm.
wholesome movie.
Yeah.
Very wholesome. I don't know. Maybe when my daughters just want me to be quiet for a couple hours when I'm old and they give me a pudding and blanket. Good times.
Yeah.
But it won't. Okay, it won't. I might watch it again. I love Disney Plus, and this is the reason I love Disney Plus. It will not stop me from watching the sequel, and it will not stop me from watching other 60s and 70s movies. I would say stream it if you have, like, some live actions hold up better than others, like Mary Poppins, Swiss Family Robinson, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and so on. I hope. But yeah, I would say stream it. If you don't have Disney Plus and you remember really liking this movie, rent at a discount. Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm revising mine. Buy at a discount.
Buy at a discount.
Buy at a discount. You don't pay $15 for it because that's ridiculous. But if
Yeah.
it's on for like 5 or 6, I'm like worth it, especially if you have a lot of little kids in your life. And
Yeah.
when I say little kids, I really mean little, like 7 and under. Because I mean,
Yes.
this is something you could put a 3-year-old to
Yeah.
watch and a 6-year-old to watch. And they'll both enjoy it for different reasons, but it's going to be suitable for both of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if
yeah,
you're
your
super
older kids are
overprotective.
not gonna like this movie.
Oh, no, once you're
They're
getting into
gonna call
8
me
and 9 years
an
old,
idiot.
yeah, they're going to be like, what is this garbage? But this is cute and nice and wholesome for younger kids and very nostalgic for older kids who watched it
Yeah.
when they were younger.
And I will say this is why I got Disney Plus. This is why I got it for my kids to watch. And I do like Marvel and Star Wars and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But to have this back catalog of these movies is one of the main reasons I got Disney Plus. Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you remember liking this movie, you probably have Disney Plus.
See, I
Stream
got
it,
Disney
yeah.
Plus for all of their Stars content.
Actually, that was
Not
a
Stars.
happy
Oh yeah, well, all their
Yeah,
Stars
Star.
content that came over
all the
from Hulu.
Fox and
Yeah.
yeah.
So like I did a rewatch of MASH, which was one of my favorite shows growing up.
Oh yeah.
And
MASH.
I've watched the entire series like 3 or 4 times, but I was still like, yeah, let's do it. It's got Golden Girls. It's got so many great shows.
And that's what I mean. That back catalog of it goes beyond
Oh.
Disney now. It goes ABC.
Yeah.
It goes Fox. It goes. Hill Street Blues is still one of my favorite openings on a TV show.
Oh god, yeah.
Is it Hill
I
Street?
haven't
Yeah,
seen that
Hill
in
Street Blues.
forever.
Yeah, it's on there too.
I should really
It's got a
spend more time.
lot of, and it has Simpsons and it has Family Guy. And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Disney Plus is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite. But yeah, stream this
It's a
movie.
shame.
I didn't hate it.
Yep.
The nostalgia was awesome. But it was a decent. But yeah, you're not gonna watch this with your kids. You're gonna watch this because you remember watching it.
Well, this is not one of those things that you trot out because you're like, kids, you need to experience this. This is
Yeah.
one of those things where the kids are getting a little restless and you're like, hey kids, let's watch this movie. Isn't it crazy? But it's still sweet, it's still wholesome, it still moves at a good pace. Like it never feels like it's lagging. It never feels like there's too much or too little in it. It's a good solid movie that's
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yep.
So I'm like, I mean, yeah, buy it and then put it in front of every 4-year-old, Keep them quiet for about an hour and a half.
All right. Well, that is Escape to Witch Mountain. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Well, until the next movie we remember liking.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.